Welcome to Japan for day 2 of what's been a dramatic rally so far. It all began with a young Finn taking the rally lead, but this time it was Jari-Matti Latvala. Marcus Gronholm soon restored some normality, taking the lead off his compatriot as he continued his bid to win the Drivers' Championship. But on stage 4, it all went wrong as he clipped a hay bale which spun him off. He hit a tree stump on the side of his car and damaged the roll cage so badly that he was forced to retire from the rally. A massive blow to his championship hopes.
How upset are you?
Just now a little bit, yes. But how much? I don't know. A lot, in fact.
That left his rival for the title, Sébastien Loeb, in prime position to take the lead in the drivers' title race. But the Frenchman was struggling early on and found himself behind the two Fords of Latvala and Hirvonen. Hirvonen, with all Ford's hopes firmly on his shoulders, rose to the occasion and took the rally lead from Latvala on stage 6. He then extended it on the following stages and starts today 10.3 seconds ahead. But Loeb did manage to claw his way into second by the end of the day, taking Latvala on the penultimate stage of the day. The Subaru on their home event the first day was a disaster. It had started so promisingly with Atkinson in third, but a spin soon dropped him to 8th. Peter Solberg also spun, losing time, and then he retired with gearbox problems. That was then followed by this big off for Atkinson on stage 6, ending his rally. It was also tricky for a few others, as Danny Sordo in the second Citroën also spun, but still starts today in 4th. Petter's brother Henning is here for the first time, and he too was caught out by the tricky Japanese stages, but he's 5th and has his sights on Sordo at the start of day 2. But all eyes will be on the battle between Hirvonen, Loeb and Latvala. Ford, and particularly Gronholm, will be hoping Mikko can keep Loeb behind him. Latvala is also just 3.4 seconds behind Sebastian, and again the Ford team will want him to put as much pressure as he can on Loeb. Today is the longest of the rally for the drivers, with 10 stages totaling 147 kilometres, but it will also involve 14 hours in the cars as they leave at 5 in the morning and return at 7 in the evening. It should be a make or break day. The second leg started with another run through the 3-kilometre Rikobetsu stage. Loeb won it, but only gained 1/10 of a second on rally leader Mikko Hirvonen. All positions in the top 8 remain the same as the crews head into stage 12, and at nearly 35 kilometres, it's the longest of the rally. Manfred Stoll is one of the first drivers into this demanding test. The Austrian's had a torrid season to date, but has certainly found some pace in Japan. He's running in 6th, which would equal his best finish of the season to date. Is Stobart Ford's Henning Solberg. Until his costly spin yesterday afternoon, he barely put a foot wrong on his Japanese debut, and the Norwegian has clearly found his rhythm very quickly on these flat-out forest roads. Just 6.7 seconds ahead of Henning coming into stage 12 is Danny Sordo. Very muddy conditions today, but the Spanish driver's getting better and better on loose surfaces and even posted 2 stage wins yesterday. The Citroën driver destroys Solberg's time on this test, beating him by over 11 seconds and giving himself some breathing space in 4th. Sordo's Citroën teammate Sébastien Loeb had managed to sneak past Jari-Matti Latvala on the Super Special stages yesterday evening, and he'll now be setting his sights on the rally leader Mikko Hirvonen for that crucial extra 2 championship points. Further back, meanwhile, Chevy Ponce is now Subaru's only representative in the top 8 at the manufacturer's home event. Peter Solberg has restarted this morning and will need a miracle if he's to claw his way back into the point-scoring places. And this looks like yet more bad news for the Japanese team on home turf. The Spaniard has slid wide into the roadside ditch, and try as he might, he can't get enough traction to get back on the road. Well, it's really been a weekend to forget for Subaru.
I'm braking early, no problem, and turn, but the car it's not turning, it's understeering, and I don't understand. I think it's something it's broken because it's very, very strange. It's not very speed, it's strange.
Back at the front though, Latvala has begun the second morning just a few seconds behind world champion Sebastian Loeb. Ford boss Malcolm Wilson has given the Finn free rein to keep attacking in the hope that it keeps some pressure on Seb. But he's got a problem here. He's been forced to use his manual gear shift, and that's going to cost him valuable seconds. Problems for Latvala then, and we're back with Citroen's #1 now. He's powering through the final sector of this long stage, but we're hearing reports that the early split times weren't looking too promising for Sebastian.
You have everything to lose really, haven't you? You can't take in too many risks in tricky conditions.
It's better to finish second than to lose everything, so we will see if the conditions are better. Maybe we can go a bit faster, but at the moment it's not possible.
Seb clearly knows he's got a fight on his hands then. Miko won't want to hand his rally lead over easily, so he'll be pushing as hard as he can to stay ahead of the Frenchman. We can take a look at those early split times now using Virtual Spectator. It really was a terrific start by Hirvonen. The Finn up by 5.5 seconds after 17 kilometres, but Loeb will be receiving Miko's splits and will know he has to push harder. We rejoin them as they near the finish, and Loeb has reduced the gap to just 1 second after 30 kilometres. Well, with that gap closing rapidly then, has Miko been able to keep Seb behind on this stage? It's going to be close, well, just about. It may not be as big a gap as he would have hoped for, but psychologically another big boost for Hirvonen. His overall advantage is now 10.5 seconds.
So what happened in the second half? You lost most of the lead.
I think Sebastian just got pissed off. It went well, no problems, but he just started to push harder and catch me in the end, but no problem. He was just, he's fighting back.
Hirvonen remains the leader after stage 12, then maintaining that gap ahead of Loeb, but the problems for Latvala have seen him slip to 17.3 seconds behind the world champion. Outside the top three, Sordo remains in 4th, and Henning Solberg is 5th. It's been a great start for Miko Hirvonen, but that man Sebastian Loeb is just over 10 seconds behind. The battle is set to continue after the break. Welcome back to Japan, where world champion Sebastian Loeb's on a mission to make up the 10.5 seconds he needs to chase down rally leader Miko Hirvonen. Jari-Matti Latvala had begun to lose time to Loeb on the previous test with a gear shift problem. He's still having to use his manual gear shift, so he'll probably slip further behind. Oh, but the gear shift is the least of his problems now. He's off the road, and I doubt he'll be able to get out of this ditch in a hurry. Another promising run for the Finn ends in frustration. Taking another look at that mistake, and he could well have been distracted by having to use the manual gear shift. He just seems to arrive far too fast into the right-hander. He slipped off the road and into the ditch. It's been another promising display from the Finn, but once again it's a disappointing finish.
We didn't have the main pedal gear shift working at all, and then I had to use the small lever, plus the diffs were not working at all, and the car wasn't very easy to drive, and somehow I just came maybe a bit too quick in the right hand corner, and it just didn't turn understeer a lot, and we went off the road and hit the tree, and that's it.
The man in 3rd is out, and the man in 2nd, Sebastian Loeb, is now free to concentrate all his attentions on the rally leader. The world champion needs to keep attacking despite these wet, slippery conditions this morning. Oh, but he's off! It sounds like there's a bit of a disagreement between driver and co-driver, and this is unbelievable. Loeb is trying his best to reverse out of the undergrowth, but it looks like he's going nowhere. Well, what on earth happened there? We've got a chance now to take another look. And like Latvala, he just seems to arrive at the corner far too fast. He slides straight off the road and into the ditch at the roadside. And this turns the championship race on its head.
What happened?
Ask the co-driver. Mistake in the notes, so okay, it happens. I went too fast in the corner, so I couldn't do anything.
You say a mistake in the notes. That was you making the wrong pace note or the wrong pace note called?
Wrong call. It was good in the pace in the notes, but okay, first time in 10 years that he makes a mistake. Maybe not the best time to do it, but it's like this.
Well, there you have it. Co-driver Daniel Eleanor may have to take the blame for that one. But with Latvala and Loeb now out, there are some very unfamiliar faces around in the top 8. Manfred Stoll suddenly finds himself up in 4th. But clutch problems mean he's 4 minutes late arriving at the stage start, earning him a 40-second time penalty. And so heartbreakingly for the Austrian, he slips back to 6th. Stoll's problems see Matthew Wilson move up to 5th. The young British driver is yet to threaten the top of the timesheets, but his steady, consistent approach as he's sought to build up his experience on the World Championship is paying dividends this weekend. He's on course for his best ever finish. Danny Sordo has been in impressive form in Japan. He claims his 3rd fastest time of the weekend on stage 13 to keep Henning Solberg at arm's length. Despite Sordo's sudden turn of speed in that test, he's still over 46 seconds behind the rally leader Mikko Hirvonen. The Finn has already claimed one victory this season in Norway. That time he had to beat Gronholm and Loeb in a straight fight. But with the 2 championship frontrunners now out, he'll be feeling much more comfortable. For the first time this season, then, neither Gronholm or Loeb feature in the top 8. Hirvonen has a lead of over 50 seconds ahead of Sordo, with Henning Solberg 27 seconds behind the Spaniard. Kompank, Wilson and Stoll round off an unlikely-looking top 6. But next up, it's the service at of a hero as Mikko contemplates the possibility of his 3rd WRC win.
Mikko, you can't keep the smile off your face, can you?
No, it's... It was quite a strange morning. First Sebastian was really fighting back, and now he's gone off, and Jari-Matti as well. So luckily I survived, and I came back to service. I'm just happy that this helps Markus quite a lot. So that's the main thing.
And at the breakfast I got the info from Timo that Seb is off the road. Yeah, it's again back to what it was before the rally. Same difference. Still we have to go there out and to do our best, and no mistakes. Trying to win doesn't change anything.
This day is the most tricky day of all the stages, so I knew this will be difficult, so I did my homework last night together with Kato, so he read my pace notes together with Markus Grönholm inboard from last year, so I knew where it was slippery. I could see it on the inboard.
What is it that's so tricky about these stages today?
You cannot see because it's grass and stuff everywhere. So you only have to take the chance. Then when he said these pace notes, it's only to keep it like this and hope you will stay on the road after the corner. So it's the most difficult thing.
On to the afternoon loop of stages next, beginning with the 4th run through the spectator-friendly Rikubetsu test. After that dramatic morning, Matthew Wilson finds himself in the unfamiliar position of defending 5th position. He has the experienced Manfred Stoll behind him, but with an advantage of nearly 50 seconds, Wilson will fancy his chances of keeping the Austrian behind him. If Wilson is enjoying his time in the limelight, then Luis Perez Kompank will be absolutely delighted to find himself in 4th. His best result to date was 6th at his home event 3 years ago. The Argentinian is slower than Wilson through stage 15 though, and now only 15.5 seconds ahead. But for a slipping clutch earlier in the day, Stoll would probably be the man in 4th. Instead, he's got a lot of time to make up to catch Wilson and Kompank. It's not a good run in this short stage though. He's 0.7 of a second slower than Wilson. Back to the front three now, though, and it remains to be seen if Henning Solberg is willing to risk his podium place to attempt to catch Sordo. It's an impressive time for the Norwegian in stage 15, but on such a short test, he's unlikely to make much of an impression on the Citroën driver. Sordo has shown increasing maturity this season after a crisis of confidence in the latter half of last year, and he'll believe in his ability to keep Henning behind him. The Spaniard is slower than Solberg, but only by 0.6 of a second. The rally leader, meanwhile, is free to concentrate on having a mistake-free run to the finish. Some drivers often find it difficult to keep a rhythm when they're not driving flat out, so he'll still be keeping up a fairly rapid pace. And it's a good opportunity on this short blast through Rikabetsu to experience a stage almost in its entirety. This is, of course, the stage that caught out Mikko's teammate Marcus Gronholm. It was at this left-hander that caused such a dent to the Finns' championship hopes. Although thankfully for Marcus, it's his compatriot Hirvonen leading the way, with his title rival Lowe back at service, analysing what went wrong. Hirvonen clears this stage okay. It's only the third fastest time, but he is at least a little quicker than Danny Sordo in second. This is how they stand after stage 15. Hirvonen's lead is exactly 51 seconds, with Henning Solberg another 26.4 seconds behind Sordo in third, while Federico Valagra ensures that both Munchie's Fords are in the top 8. Nearly 56 kilometres of slippery forest roads to cover over the next two stages, so no time to relax for the 8 World Rally cars still running. This is Luis Perez Compang's second attempt at Rally Japan. Oh, but a small spin and a stall for Lewis here, though. It shouldn't cost him too much time, but with Matthew Wilson just 15.5 seconds behind, he can't afford too many more delays.
80 izquierda de una, el por adentro. Y 50 sube suave izquierda a fondo.
Manfred Stoll has clearly not given up his hopes of chasing down Matthew Wilson's 5th place. He may be just under 50 seconds behind the young Brit coming into stage 15, but on the 35-kilometre stage 16, he makes up 14.5 seconds on the Stobart Ford driver.
Artig. Rechts 3 Line. Über 80.
So the pressure beginning to build on Wilson then this afternoon. In World Championship terms, the 20-year-old has little experience of a full-on battle for position, and he drops another 1.9 seconds to Stoll on stage 17. Danny Sordo, meanwhile, will continue to push as much as he dares to keep some pressure on the rally leader. The fact that he's running in second also ensures that Ford will have to wait a little longer for their second consecutive Manufacturers' Championship. He's 4.2 seconds faster than Hirvonen on stage 16.
Atención, final izquierda 3, muy larga, tin fin. 3, muy larga, tin fin.
The Blue Oval need to score 5 more points than Citroën to secure the title this weekend, which looks unlikely now. But they will be at least delighted to see their second driver on course for his second win of the season. Hirvonen saw his advantage trimmed a little on the previous stage, and he's approaching the finish of 17. He's going to lose more time here. Yes, another 11.7 seconds lost to the man in second. The overall lead is down to 35.1. It's a risky tactic from Mikko if he's just backing off. His lead isn't looking quite as dominant now, and there's still a lot of rallying to go before the finish. Henning Solberg remains in third, with Compang still fourth. Hirvonen leads, but Sordo is chasing hard. This battle is far from over, and there's more to come after the break. Welcome back to the second day of Rally Japan, where Mikko Hirvonen is on course to claim his third WRC victory. He's currently 35.1 seconds ahead of Citroen's Dani Sordo. After so many retirements for the top drivers, Federico Villagra is one of many on course to score his best ever finish at the sport's top level. The former Argentinian national champion is in a comfortable 7th position and is ensuring that both Munchie's Ford drivers are running in the top 8. 2 positions ahead is Stobart Ford's Matthew Wilson. The young Brit has begun to come under pressure from a fired-up Manfred Stoll, though, this afternoon. Stage 18 is just under 5 kilometres long, but even so, Stoll can sense his opportunity to chase down Wilson. He nibbles away at the Brits' advantage again through here, edging another 2.1 seconds closer. Ahead of Stoll and Wilson, Luis Perez Companc is leading the charge for Munchie's Ford. With Lewis running 4th and both cars in the top 8, this will easily be the best weekend to date in the all-Argentinian team's debut season. He's a second quicker than Wilson through here, the gap between them now 23.8 seconds overall. Henning Solberg, meanwhile, is in a comfortable, if somewhat lonely, 3rd place. The Norwegian seems to have decided against chasing down Dani Sordo in 2nd. He's already well over a minute behind the Spaniard. Here is Sordo now, and he's been closing on the rally leader over the previous 2 stages. He beat Hirvonen by nearly 12 seconds on the last test, but can he continue that trend through here? That time loss for the rally leader, though, appears to have served as a wake-up call for Mikko. He's only slower than the super rallying Petter Solberg in this test and beats Sordo by 4.6 seconds.
Oikein täysille keskellä 300.
So with just 2 runs through the Oberhero Super Special stage to come, this is how the top 8 looks. The gap between 1st and 2nd now 39.7 seconds. Henning Solberg still 3rd, with Companc, Wilson and Stoll still 4th, 5th and 6th. Back to Oberhero then for 2 runs through the 1.35 kilometre Super Special stage. These tests are primarily about entertaining the crowd, but the seconds lost and gained still count towards the driver's overall tally. And as we saw in New Zealand, when it decided the rally, they can make all the difference. Healthy gaps separating the front runners, however, Dani Sordo can focus his attentions on entertaining the fanatical Japanese fans who are packed into the grandstands that line the stage in their thousands. And the Spaniard clearly enjoys these blasts around this tight, twisty circuit. He claims another 1.3 seconds away from the rally leader on the first run through. Hirvonen may already be in cruise control, but he knows with 7 more stages still to run tomorrow, this rally is far from one just yet. And Sordo's evidently going to keep the pressure on to the very finish. Hirvonen slower again on this 2nd run through the Super Special, although this time only by 2/10. At the end of day 2, Hirvonen has a buffer of 38.2 seconds to take into the 3rd and final leg. Sordo's the man doing the chasing, with Henning Solberg 3rd. Companc, Wilson and Stoll are set to fight it out for 4th on the final day.
Mikko, you lost a bit of time in that loop of stages. Did you have a problem, or are you just being cautious?
Just being cautious, no problems, and conditions were very difficult. And of course, Dani, he's driving very fast, but if he takes 9 seconds away, that's okay. I can then fight back when the conditions are a bit better.
You managed to get some time off of Mikko this afternoon. Were you pushing to get that time?
Yeah, I'm pushing a little bit now, of course, but it's not easy. It's a lot of time, and Mirko, I think, is not flat out. No, it's a lot of time in front of me. but we will see. No, it's possible to make a mistake. Everything is possible.
For me, I'm very happy for this day. I've never been here before, so and the stage have been very good. So the whole day is perfect for me.
It's been another dramatic day here in Japan, and if you want more, there's always WRC.com. For now, though, from Other Hero, it's goodbye.